What's up YouTube? I've got Will here and we're going to go over some core bracing patterns. Core bracing is a good idea to reinforce every time you work out, or it's super common if someone has a flare-up of back pain to do bracing exercises, and it usually gives them quite a bit of relief. So Will is a big-time weightlifter. He's super jacked, as you can see. So he's going to be a really good example of how to brace. So when teaching somebody how to brace, usually I like to do it flat, and usually have their hands rested somewhere right in the middle of their chest. And what the cue is I tell them to take a big breath in, breathe all their air out, and then I'm going to have my fingers kind of pushed into their stomach, and I say on your next inhale, push my fingers out. Good, and now hold it. Now what we don't want is when he takes a big breath in to brace, we don't want his chest or his rib cage to flare upwards. So he did a really good job of that. So you can go ahead and relax. And what we're doing here is we're expanding that lower portion of the abdomen. And when you do that, it eccentrically loads all those muscles, activates the core in a really good manner. So I'm gonna have him do that again. So breathe all your air in, blow it out. And now take a big breath in, push my fingers out. Good, now hold that really strong, like I was gonna punch you in the stomach. And now keep this tension and take a few breaths in and out. What we want is for people to be able to have a brace, but also be able to breathe, right? You don't want this to just totally lock your whole body down. We want to be able to function with the brace. And as you can see, it's kind of subtle, but when he has the brace and he tries to breathe, he starts shaking a little bit. That's kind of what you want to see. And so this is the base progression. From this, he's going to have his knees bent and have his feet flat. And he's just going to do the same thing. So he's going to breathe in, brace, and from there he's going to squeeze that like I was going to punch him right in the stomach, and take a few breaths in and out. And reinforcing the bracing is really good to do. So this would be something that most people can move to right away as soon as they get the brace. From here it goes to the next progression, which is kind of similar to a dead bug, but not quite. So from here, he's gonna have his knees up, shins are gonna be pretty much flat to the ground. And this is where it starts to get kind of difficult. So he's gonna take a big breath in, blow all his air out, get a nice soft stomach, and then when he inhales, he's gonna brace. Now, hold the brace, get these up, shins flat, and now take a few breaths in and out. Very difficult to hold your legs up, hold a brace, and to breathe. As you can see, he's kind of shaking, and if somebody's not in good shape, they'll probably start sweating when they do this. All right, relax. Next progression of reinforcing the core bracing is a lower half dead bug. I like to start people in this position with their knees bent and their feet flat on the ground. So what Will's gonna do is take a big breath in, it's a normal breath, breathe all his air out. He's gonna get a nice soft stomach, and on his next inhale, he's gonna push my fingers out, expanding the low abdomen. He's gonna hold that in, really tighten this down, and he's gonna raise his legs up, get his shins parallel to the ground. He's gonna hold this for a second and start with a couple breaths in and out while holding that low abdomen brace. This is gonna be, it's usually difficult like we talked about a second ago. And then on his next inhale, he's gonna hold it and he's gonna start the dead bug. So he's gonna keep the brace. What we don't wanna do is we don't wanna have pretty much any movement to his stomach and his core, but we want his lower extremity move. So he's gonna do one leg at a time, straighten that out, lower it to the ground, and go back up. And he's gonna do reps on each side. And what you wanna look for here is you don't want the low abdomen on the side that he's going down. You don't want that to move at all. All we want here is to reinforce the core is bracing while the lower extremity is moving, because we want those movements to be separate. Now you probably won't get a six-pack from doing this, but it's a really good exercise to warm up and reinforce the bracing pattern, let's say before a heavy lifting session. The next progression to reinforce a core bracing pattern is an upper half movement or a pullover. So I'm gonna have Will demonstrate that again. He's gonna have a dumbbell straight over his shoulders, arms are gonna be locked out. We're gonna start the progression the same way. So he's gonna take a big breath in, blow all his air out, get a nice soft stomach, and then inhale, pushing that low abdomen out. Hold the brace. He's gonna bring his legs up. And now what he's gonna do is take this dumbbell overhead. I want him to think about a few things. We don't want his sternum to rise up because we want the shoulder movement to be separate from the core movement. And we've also got a band underneath as an external cue for him to keep his back pressed into the ground. So on his next inhale, he's gonna breathe in and hold it. Keep his sternum down while he takes this overhead. And we're gonna come back up. Now this is not supposed to be a maxing out type, go ahead and do one more, a maxing out type lift. It's just to reinforce the core bracing and reinforce the idea that your core should be able to brace with your extremities, the upper body and the lower body, moving totally separate. So Will's got a 20-pound dumbbell here. It's moderately difficult. He should be shaking a little bit at the very end ranges of motion. But the whole idea here is to reinforce certain motor patterns right before you want to do, let's say, a big lifting day. Last progression to reinforce the core brace is a bear. So what we're going to do is kind of like a bear and a walk at the same time. So I've got Will here again. He's going to start on all fours, and all he's going to do is raise up. So his back doesn't have to be parallel to the ground. It can be, his butt can be raised a little bit higher, especially if you have really long legs. Let's say you have short arms. This is pretty much a good position. He's gonna start this the same way we started all the other progressions, which is that breathing pattern. He's gonna take a big breath in, blow all his air out. He's gonna expand that low abdomen on the inhale. So when he breathes in, he's gonna breathe in and hold that. Now, this is gonna be, the idea here is holding the brace while moving your extremities separate of the core. So he's just gonna walk 2 steps forward and then come back. Looks a little bit funky, but when you really try to squeeze your core and move your body, it can be kind of difficult, especially going backwards. Thanks for watching all of our progressions of reinforcing the core bracing. Try some of these movements out next time you have a heavy lifting day. What you'll find is some of these are a lot harder, and Will does a good job of making them look pretty easy. He's been lifting for a long time, so some of these things come natural to him. But for a lot of you, you'll find that this is it's kind of a funky movement, and you'll be shaking a lot when you're doing these. So again, thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, drop a like and a comment, and we'll see you next time.